All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on Wion. This is something that has just come in the last few minutes, where India's Supreme Court has now referred the Ayodhya Babri land dispute for mediation. This is the order that's in fact been passed. Now, the Apex Court has constituted a panel of mediators which will be headed. This will be a panel that will be headed by former Supreme Court Judge Justice F.M. Khalifullah. It will also comprise of spiritual guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar and also senior advocate Sri Ram Panchu. Significantly, the court has banned media from reporting on the mediation proceedings, and the timing of the court order is also extremely important, since the mediation proceedings have to be completed in a span of about 8 weeks. But the first status report has to be filed within 4 weeks, right before India's general elections. Now, the seat of mediation will be the town of Faizabad in Uttar Pradesh, where the proceedings will be held on camera. However, they will be held under confidentiality. Now, the bench that is headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, the Chief Justice of India, had reserved orders on this plea on the 6th of March. And the reference for mediation had in fact attracted opposition from some Hindu groups, although the Nirmohi Akhada, which is one of the petitioners in this case, was in favour of a mediated settlement. Now, the court has also maintained that the focus of mediation is to arrive at a permanent solution in the dispute that has been spanning several decades. Now, remember, the dispute involves 2.77 acres of land in Ayodhya, where a 16th century mosque had been built by Mughal Emperor Babur. Now, for several centuries, there was no issue, but some Hindus believe that the mosque has in fact been built on the ruins of an ancient temple marking the birthplace of Lord Ram. And the case, for the first time, went to the court back in 1885. And to add more perspective to this, we are joined in by our senior political affairs editor, Kartikeya Sharma. Good morning to you, Kartikeya. This is a very significant order that has been passed by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has actually now said that mediation will be the way forward. Tell us, what is the significance of this ruling?
I think it's a very important step taken by court, and the dimensions are many. One thing which the court has done is it has also put some onus of responsibility on people who have not been able to agree on anything.
Absolutely.
When a lot of civil society actors were trying to intervene and were pressing these groups who are party to the suit, saying, well, let's sit together and solve the matter, everyone was taking an extreme position on this issue. Now, court has put that onus of responsibility on their shoulder. Matter is confidential, media cannot report, but people by end of the 8th week will know that none of them could sit back and resolve, and court had no choice but to give an order. So, in case, if everyone agrees to disagree and the matter goes back to the honourable court, then the court will have that moral high ground saying that we gave you that option, but you could not come to a consensus. That is very important aspect of it, because law, legality cannot be divorced from morality. And I think that's where Supreme Court has done a great job. Second important aspect is that it is time bound, which is 4 weeks you have the status report, 8th week you will complete the mediation.
Right.
Mediation will take place in Faizabad, away from public glare. They have made it very clear. So we cannot report the proceedings. In fact, I would also like to put on record that even the issues related with the Ram temple issue, as per one of the orders, were not to be reported in depth as they have been reported in social media and media in general. But nonetheless, this has been stated by the court that it's going to be closed, which is very good. Which means atmosphere cannot be vitiated on this issue. Third, because elections are underway, anytime in next 48 to 72 hours, Election Commission of India will announce Lok Sabha elections, give the date, the code of conduct will be announced. So the developments in Faizabad will not directly impact the developments which are taking place in political domain. That is another part. Now, fourth part on which there is some grey area, or I would say there is lack of clarity, In case everyone agrees to disagree on the issue, what will the court do? How will the hearing resume? Will they be day to day? We will only come to know after mediation ends, because that status report will decide whether the mediation is taking place or carrying through in the right direction or not. So status report is on 8th of April. And Saleh, it concludes on 8th of May. By 8th of May, elections in India will be through roughly 90% of it. Once that is done, because even the status report will be given in a sealed cover, and generally the government is formed between 13th to 18th of May. Supreme Court has ensured that the Ram Temple Ayodhya dispute issue will have no impact on election. I think that's the biggest service which the Supreme Court of India has done today, because neither it will vitiate communal atmosphere nor it will turn into an election issue. But provided that the members who are part and parcel of the meeting in Faizabad keep the confidentiality and the sanctity of the process.
I think you've summed it up very, very beautifully. But, you know, something that a lot of people would, of course, ponder upon, Kartikeya, is there have been mediation efforts in the past. There have at least been 4 mediation efforts that have been very high profile, and all of them failed because of the extreme positions that were taken. So what is the possibility that mediation this time round might succeed?
A fair and a square question. I would say the last time around, it failed because people felt that let court decide. Political parties won. They did not want to take onus on the matter. BJP has also changed goalposts multiple number of times, either first saying it's a matter of faith, then saying it's a matter of law. Congress has also done number of political somersaults. You know, on one hand, you know, they overturned the Shah Bano case, which was decided by Supreme Court of India. And secondly, to placate an extreme audience, they opened the gates for the puja to be performed. So Rajiv Gandhi also paid a price. Other regional parties have not taken a stand on this issue. But Saleh, we have to admit that things change over a period of time, and the issue of Ram Lala Virajman has also turned into a matter of faith. Now, in this process, we have to see the verdict of 2010, in which the land was bifurcated. The place where the idol stands today actually has been given to the Ram Lala Virajman. You will have a temple one day. There is a temple which exists in Ayodhya today. So the temple is not going anywhere. Issue is what happens to the adjoining land. No one is going to remove that idol. One has to be very clear about that. When other political parties or BJP says that we will build a temple, temple exists. The lawyer of the temple exists because the way Hindu dharma or the religion which we call Sanatan dharma works in a very different way. You can represent the deity, and the deity is being represented in the Supreme Court, and some of the lawyers are also politicians. But saying that aside, and pun unintended, I would say that Supreme Court of India has taken a very bold and courageous decision.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there, Kartikeya. Thank you very much indeed for joining us and putting this in perspective. And perhaps the key highlight that needs to be taken away is the manner in which the Supreme Court has ensured that this is an issue that will not be reported about in the media, and therefore cannot be politicized ahead of the general elections 2019, and therefore none of the political parties will be able to draw any mileage out of the Ram Mandir Ayodhya Babri Masjid issue. So this, of course, is a story that we'll continue to track very closely, though it's a significant order that's been put out by the Supreme Court, and we'll have to wait for the negotiations and the mediation process, which will last for a span of the next 8 weeks at this very crucial time when India is, of course, headed for the general elections.